moving like a boss. I'm moving like a visionary. I'm moving like this is what I do. If you're an artist, if you are a creative of any sort, if you're a business owner, at some point in that journey, you are all entrepreneurs. I think today is a perfect example of what I feel should be shared with my audience. And that is that sometimes you have to break something down. You have to keep on going, even if it isn't perfect. And most of all, you gotta stay positive, knowing that entrepreneurship, artistry, building anything takes time, takes patience, tests your faith, and will absolutely at times overwhelm you and other times inspire you to keep on going. Hi, my name is NOBOA, singer, songwriter, dance artist, entrepreneur woman, community builder, and wellness and mental health advocate, supporter, spiritual creature and being. I wish I could say, no, I don't, that I only have this like one talent or that I kind of live in this one silo, but I don't. I'm multifaceted. And that is because when it comes to taking care of yourself and building your dreams, rarely do you have the capital to hire everyone to do the job so you could be that sole one thing. I'm a music artist. I make dance club art, like very much what we call, voguing kind of music mixed with like, dance Georgia Smith, think Caliucci's, think somebody who makes you want to move. And there you are. I am somebody who has worked on music since I was a child. So all of that to say that it is for sure my ultimate dream is to live inside of my world of music. But what people don't know is that along the journey, I had the opportunity to decide. And I think that's important because a lot of times people just see you and they think that you just kind of either you just kind of had a good mindset your whole life, or maybe you had some support that really helped you, or in some cases maybe you just didn't have those problems. We all get a hand here and there, but I must say, if you're like me and you're here, maybe you just really had a life where you had to figure out a lot of things, or maybe the help you received wasn't necessarily the help you needed. And other times maybe you weren't listened to. Maybe you're the oldest like I was for one of your parents, and therefore you were the what I call the first experiment. But all of that leads into like how you build your psychology and how you show up for your dreams, your goals, your stability. So here's what I want to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about how you can pull down your dreams, how to manifest them, how to take them from big idea all the way down. And here are 3 tips that I use to help me to get to the next level. And when I say the next level, that means the next step, how I mentally break down these goals in order to grow. All right, so where were we? I'm an ADHD girly, by the way. So this has always been a fear of mine that I would just be all over the place. But the truth is, it makes me me, and it makes me who, I think it's a form of brilliance to have neurodivergency for a lot of us. It allows us to be creative and approach things from different angles and let them catch up. Let them catch up. So for me in music, I worked on it since I was about, 17. But I started to sing since I was 3 years old and perform, and it's something where I had to learn a lot of like discipline around training. And so when people ask me like, well, how do you do the other things you do? Well, the maturity that you gain wanting something like that and continuously working on it sets you up to kind of repeat that, transferable skill. Number 1, the first thing I want to say to you is, if you want other people to build with you and you're a new entrepreneur or a young creative, or you're just young in your creative career. So this isn't about age. You can be any age, you can be any gender. What matters here is that what I'm talking about is your step by step. So you're new to the industry or you're learning your way around a subject. Here's something that's a transferable skill that you need to hone in order to make you stand out. The first skill you need to own is the ability to be organized in your concepts and to be able to be easy to work with. This does not necessarily mean you have to be a pushover who doesn't speak up, but you have to be somebody who facilitates the space and helps the vision be very clear. Let me tell you very, very clearly why. When you are taking from people's time, who, by the way, in my humble opinion, we pay for people's time, but people's time, their price goes up, their price changes. And so when you're asking people to work for you or work with you, you have to facilitate that. You have to create a space where they feel like it was clear, they get it. You make it easier for people, they will work with you. They will work with your budget more often than not. Okay, and they'll see the potential in you because they see that you're focused and that you're handling your business as you say you were, and that signals that you're going somewhere. And they want to invest in people who are going somewhere. It's not necessarily that people want to necessarily like just get your money and go. Some people really care about the craft and they want to work with people who are good. So when you come ready with a clear vision, you're communicative, you're respectful, you bring a smile, you bring good energy. I'm not saying sit there and feel like you have to like be flirty or do too much, especially for individuals who feel like they've been in environments like music and entertainment where it can be very like predatory at times. No, we're not saying sell yourself short. We're saying come organized, come clear, let people know, signal, I am ready for this. I just need you to give me this opportunity to build on top of more opportunities and stay in touch. I'm going to keep building up because I'm moving like a boss. I'm moving like a visionary. I'm moving like this is what I do. And so when you move like this is what you do and you do it clearly, what you're letting people know is if you give me a shot, this is going somewhere. I am a good investment. So that is why it's super important. And that is why number one is to come organized and making it easy for others to work with you. But this is a derivative of number one. And maybe number one is, so let's talk about number two. This one's super important because this is where a lot of creatives fall short. A lot of entrepreneurs overestimate right here. And what it does to us is that it stunts us because it overwhelms a lot of us. And what it is when you do not measure up how vast your vision is and take a sector of it and perfect that. So what does that mean? When you're building a vision, you may want, let's say you want a music video with 7 scenes, for example. You have a budget of $1,500. You're getting a visualizer. But you know what else you can get for that money? You can get a membership to ManyChats AI. You can get all these different, you can get CapCut Pro. You can get all these other things under $1,500, okay? And you can afford somebody that, again, you use your organizational skills and your vision to pay a small sum. Maybe it's a student or something. And now you're getting everything you need for that money. You can't get the video with the 7 scenes unless you shoot them yourself on your iPhone. You could do that. But again, time equals money. So where do you want to invest your time and where do you want to invest your money and what takes you the furthest? So sometimes our biggest mistake isn't dreaming big, it's just not understanding how to break it down to build to that larger thing, right? It is better to do something in a smaller portion and do amazing at it and continue to grow and grow your volume than to sit there and dream too big for that particular phase of your creative, growth. And then you feel like it wasn't what you thought it was. This also overwhelms people that work with you, especially if you're trying to build, right? What you want to do is you want to think about it like it is your portfolio. It is your portfolio when it comes to people working with you and it comes to your, your artistry. So how can you maximize your money? I think a lot of creatives dream big. I'm guilty of it. I love to dream big, but it is super important to be not realistic, but to dissect things and build on them. Because I'm not here to sell you, oh, you need to be realistic and practical. I think that's relative. I think I'm realistic and practical for an artist. So for example, like I dream big and I'm part of projects that are very much about dreaming big, but I break things down. I'm organized. I'm very much a big project manager in any teams that I build. So what does that allow me to do? That allows me to assess if we're biting more than we can chew, or to bring in people who can help me execute that. And what is my promise? And how can I deliver on that? And can I deliver on that? Or do I need to scale down and perfect this and go ahead and use this to build upon my dream? I think these are the things that we have to talk about when we say that we want to be entrepreneurs, artists. And by the way, I just want to make a disclaimer. If you're an artist, if you are a creative of any sort, if you're a business owner, at some point in that journey, you are all entrepreneurs. Why? Because entrepreneurship is literally the innovative aspect of business. It is the creative mindset that allows you to expand on anything you want to do. And most likely in this time and day and age, you have to be a little entrepreneurial in order to build something out. because it's getting pricey. So all of that to say that what I want you to do is to look at your dream, analyze where you are and what your capacity is, and see who and what you need before you decide what to bite, so that you can actually do a great job, and that will impress the people who want to work with you, or who you want to work with you. Again, and using number one, you should be now building on the fact that you are easy to work with and organized and come with a clear vision, which signals promise. Let's build on this with number three. As long as you live, as you have heard, you should never stop learning. Now let's go a little deeper, because I feel like this one feels cliche, but it's something that we should talk about because it is a reality. When you are building anything, it is important to understand everybody's role, not just your role, not just what you want them to do, but how it functions. There's a couple reasons why. One of the main reasons, and one of the inspirations for me for that reason, is some of my favorite iconic music artists in the industry, like Beyonce and Michael Jackson. As I would watch some of their, back behind the scenes and like movies about them touring, which again is part of my bigger manifestation, I realized that these were people who were feet on the ground, learning everything that had to do with the production of their vision, knew everyone's part, and what this allowed them to do was to make sure that their vision was still aligned with who they are. As new people were brought into the production, and as people in general were growing with them. Why is this super important? Because brand integrity is something that you have to preserve as you grow as an artist or creative. Now, you may not be in that phase yet, and so there's something here for everybody. If you're a new entrepreneur, here's what I need you to know. I want you to study everyone around you. I want you to get to know all the pieces that are inside of the idea you have. I want you to go ahead and look up all of the pieces it takes to do what you want to do. Let's say you want to be a music artist and you want to be able to produce a nice music video. Again, let's use that example again. Then what are you going to need? Okay, you're going to need a director, all right? A director that's going to be there directing the project. You're going to need a producer. Okay, you're going to need this producer that's going to be moving the project along. Now, you may not have all the ability to bring in everyone in, but even if you look at the bare bones, if you break it down, what parts can you for now fill in that help to bring in that main individual that you need, and they will know what other features were needed, and you can learn from them what they'll need you to do until you have the funding or the support to do more of a scaling situation. Why this is also important, because when you show people that you're boots on the ground for what you desire, they can sense that you're somebody who is dedicated. And that level of humility, and humility is required as you build, that level of humility and grounding and dedication, again, signals this is a person that really wants to build and is serious. And I love how they never felt like they were either too big for the job, because at the end of the day, up until we can afford others, and even when we can't, we have to have a certain amount of tuning in to the project and honoring the art or honoring the vision that we're doing, and never showing up in these spaces with a sense of superiority. Because honestly, as long as you're an artist, an entrepreneur, creative, a business owner, you are always learning from everything around you, even at the $1 million mark. Even at the million, the doubles, you are always going to be the student of life, and you're always going to have to tune into your consumer, your staff. You're going to have to tune into your spirit and make sure that you are still who you say you want to be, or if something shifted in your vision, that you can translate that to the people you want to receive that. In my opinion, there's an aspect of leadership that is super spiritual, and it helps you to understand how we are all part of each other, and that the actual thing that people want to see in your vision and in your leadership is that you know how to keep all the pieces connected and honor their talents while highlighting your vision. This is what shows that your brand is more than just a performance of the aesthetics of art or of creativity. This shows that you've sat with your dreams, and you're never going to stop being a part of the process, because you understand what it takes to stay relevant, on top, in tune, tapped in with your consumer, with your community. And these are the kind of leaders of their vision that people gravitate to, and have, you know, an allegiance to when they see that, right? Because they see that you are grounded, you are rooted. So these are some things that I feel like really separate you. They separate you. And so if you're a creative entrepreneur, if you're a music artist, if you're a business owner, whether it's product or it's digital product or it's any kind of service, these are skills that no matter what you do are very important and are going to separate you. So if you're watching this video, my name is NOBOA, house dance music artist, entrepreneur, wellness and mental health advocate, and I hope that you enjoyed this. If you're new here, go on and just watch little clips of what I've dropped before. Let's get to know each other. I'm going to continue to warm up here. I think and this is just a sidebar, but dear entrepreneur, don't give up. Don't ever feel like it's over. Honestly, this takes a lot of shapes and forms, and it really does pull out of you the bravery to go after your dreams. So I'm so excited for you to watch my journey, and I'm so excited to share information with you that helps you to become a rooted, talentful, community building, inspiring leader. And my hopes is that more of this mentality will be shared all over the world, and that together we'll not only build a better world, we'll just create a better culture within the culture that we can control, which we can. We the people do, we can continue to shape and form spaces where people say, this is like family, this is like a team I'm honored to be a part of, this is an entrepreneur that I respect. And that's what I want for you, that's what I want for me, that's what I want for everyone whose heart's desire is to share a message, an art form, to help. So I hope y'all have a lovely day. I'm off to the next part of my day. Maybe we'll catch up about that later. Alrighty, y'all take care. Bye.